Bang. Prime time, prime time, prime time. What's going on, everybody out there? This is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show with my co-host, as always, Smooth Smitty. And we got a special guest, man, a real Falcons fan. Ricondo is in the building. But, folks, we got some things to talk about, some news around the NFL. We're going to break down the preview of the Packers and Atlanta Falcons. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, bro.
Ricondo got to do his own intro because we did our own intro. So, go ahead, Ricondo.
So what's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, sir. Join us back in 20 seconds, folks. Yes, sir. We're back. Before we get into the topics and stuff like that, just do a quick roll call for the folks that are in the chat. William Amy in here. How you doing, my brother? Chris, thank you for joining the stream tonight. John Higgins, what's going on, bro? We fast enough,
John
man?
Higgins.
We in here, man. Derek Hughes, Douglas Farrington, our boy Anthony Savigny. What's happening? RJ ATL for life. The plug is in the building. Oblivion Empire, what's going on, fam? The Cheesecake family, no link tonight, brother. We got some stuff to talk about. Matt Anderson, Hank Dizzy, Justin Switchy Sweets, what's happening? Miss Pam, how you doing, Miss Pam? Thank you, everybody that's joining the stream, man. As you continue to roll on, man, we'll definitely salute y'all, man. But, yeah, man, thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to start with a quick segment called Around the NFL. And some somber news today, man. Mike Williams, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, passed away, man. He was on life support, was taken off of life support, and was showing some signs of life. But unfortunately, succumbed to his passing, man. So, man, thoughts and prayers to the Williams family. It sucks to hear stuff like that, man. Such a young kid. Man, gone too soon, man.
Yeah, man. I remember him coming out in 2010, man, out of Syracuse. Dude was built tough. He was 6'2", about 205. Now his career, it didn't take off like it was supposed to, but he still had 3 solid years to start off his career. But after that, it seemed like he lost his footing and had to retire at the age of 27. He did have 223 catches, 3,089 yards, 26 touchdowns, average 13.9 yards a catch. So rest in peace to Mike Williams, man. Prayers to his family, man, because I'm gonna be real, man. They were saying that he might make it through, and I was pumped up about that, man, because you hate to see people leave the earth at a young age, but you can't question God. I tell y'all that all the time. But he took a turn for the worse last night and into this morning, and just didn't make it, man. And as I was hearing, I think they said it had something to do with electricity, so I'm thinking he got electrocuted. So that's really tough. So
yeah, I think they said he was in a construction accident or something like that.
Right. Right, and I think it had to do with the electricity. So
yeah,
and I mean, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, I'm gonna be honest, and I saw people say this online when he before he passed away about what he do with his money and from the NFL. Listen to me. When you have money from the NFL, it's not going to last forever. You still have to work. He may have had some left over still, and even if he didn't, it's his business. But, you can't judge people by how they live their lives, man. Ain't no telling what he had going on outside of football, the reason why he spent money. I mean, nobody knows. But one thing about it, you can't take money with you, so it really don't matter.
Right.
When you leave this earth, you can't take money with you, so it really don't matter. Like I said, man, just prayers out to his family because I know they're having a hard time because they probably feel like I feel. He was going to make it through. We was going to laugh and talk and be all right in a couple of months. But, like I said, man, God had other plans. And, when you trust in God, things like this are going to happen. So.
Yep. Yeah, so same thing, condolences to his family. Rest in peace. Like you said, just, dying that young sometimes. You look at when you hear about the young ages of some of these, especially because they know
Yeah,
they football players, but yeah, it just make you sit back and think about mortality and stuff like that sometimes.
sure
So
does. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that's a fact.
because I
so
kid
yeah,
y'all not. Kid y'all not. The morning Derek Thomas died, it just did something to me. I don't know why. And that's with anybody, but when that happened, when a superstar player like that, and just like Kobe Bryant a couple of years ago,
yeah, that what I was just about to say. Kobe,
when,
man,
when a
that kind of
superstar
Yeah.
player die,
Oh man,
you
yeah,
you think they're
I wasn't
immortal,
right, man.
but
yeah,
they are as human as we are.
yep,
Their blood is red. Whatever they use the bathroom with, they do the same thing we do, man. Take baths, all that. So
yep,
just
Hmm.
don't ever think that anybody on this earth is untouchable.
that's
Just
right.
always remember that.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Just get, like you
Yes,
said,
sir.
just make you look at life a little different. And
Mm-hmm.
like I got two kids who grown now, and I always tell them, hey, you only got one life, man. Live it to the
Mm-hmm.
Right?
fullest. So
Man, that's a fact. I got two of my
yep,
own, man. I preach that every day, man.
yep.
Every
You
day.
only got one. Live it to the fullest, man. So
Amen.
yep.
Amen, brother. Amen. Oh man, hard to move on when with such sad news like that, man. But definitely condolences to the family, and hope
Amen.
everybody can
Yeah.
bounce back, as best as they can. It's not easy losing, a
Yep.
loved
Nope,
one,
not at all.
man. So going right through the chat right quick again. Mom Dukes is in the building. Mom, what's going on? Love you,
Shout out
Mom.
to Mama Dukes.
Yeah, Marina, rise up. Thank you for joining the stream tonight. Our boy Joseph Thornton is in the building, man. Thank you for joining us, man. Corey Thomas, appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, man. 330. What's going on, brother?
All the way from North
What's going
Carolina
on,
supporting the
330?
boys.
We met this gentleman,
I got
man.
a chance. Yeah, we got a chance
Yeah,
to meet him, man. Pretty down
it
to earth
was
dude, man.
it was awesome. It was awesome, man. Carrie, what's going on?
What's
That's
going
a
on,
fact. What's
Carrie?
up? We are 1-0, baby. We'll be breaking that down in a little
Terry
bit.
famous now. She took a picture with Terry Fontenot.
Oh,
Yep, she
you
sure
can't tell her
did.
nothing, man.
She
She
pretty
she got
famous.
me. She got me. She said she was gonna get Terry Fontenot after me, man. So I'm gonna back off. Oh man, we got a very flattering comment over here from our brother Matt Anderson. Man, I'm ready for you guys to take your time slot on 929 the game soon. Man, wow, that would be
Hey, I would
that
love
would be
that.
awesome. That would
Yeah.
be awesome,
I got
man.
I got to talk to my boy. See, can he hook me up to bring me on the show?
Oh man. All right, fellas. So moving on with the news around the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles, like a lot of teams do, suffer injuries, or players suffer injuries, especially in week one. The Kobe Dean went down with injury. So what do the Eagles do, man? They go out and they sign former Atlanta Falcon linebacker
Rashawn.
Rashawn Evans. Man, that's a great fit for Rashawn Evans, in my opinion, because he's
Really
not going to
is,
be
really
asked
is.
to do a lot in that schematic system over there. He's not going to be asked to drop in coverage or anything like that. So they're going to do a great job hiding some of his liabilities. But what they're going to enjoy is 100 plus tackles and competency at that linebacker spot. They have size up front, and it's going to keep him clean, something that he struggled with last year with our Falcons due to the size. So fast forward to now, he's with the Eagles. So what can you guys say to the type of impact Rashawn Evans can have with the Philadelphia Eagles for the rest of the season? Wakanda, I'll start with you, brother.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah. So, like you said, he actually led the team in tackles last year for us.
Right.
He's downhill. He's going to play as hard as he can. I think he do have that leadership, that leadership ability. It
Mm-hmm.
was mentioned, if you guys remember, Terry Fontenot actually mentioned him early in the offseason that they was talking about trying to bring him back in to be that veteran, to go
Yeah.
along with Troy Anderson. But for whatever reason that didn't work out. And I kind of feel like his size and things like that, what you just mentioned, not being able to get
Mm-hmm.
off blocks like as well as we wanted him to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to your point with those big defensive tackles they got up in
Mm.
Philadelphia, Jalen Carter, um, big boy they drafted last year. I think definitely it's going to help him stay clean, and he's going to make a lot of tackles for those guys. So um, I'm glad he got back in the league, man, because nobody didn't want to sign him, and
Man,
it's
still
crazy
young.
because it looked like the league was going to smaller linebackers, right? But
Yeah.
now it's like they trying to go back to the back to the additional big boys. Cause see, Deion Jones, another guy, still haven't found the spot yet. He got
Yeah.
cut and he's still out there as well. But it's like they're going back to they want guys to come downhill, man, and be physical in that linebacker position. They still want them
Yeah.
fast, but they want
Yeah.
a little bit more girth on them. So
And I'm gonna be the first one to tell y'all. I feel like the Falcons could have used Rashawn Evans Sunday. Uh, I still feel like they need a veteran with those two guys. There's no knock
yeah,
to
I
them.
agree.
But Frank Bush, he's going to do his job well, and I know he will. But I
Yep.
still feel like they need a veteran to teach them the ropes. As I tell
Mm.
y'all about the same thing I said about quarterbacks in one of my previous videos. Nothing like learning from somebody that plays the same position that you, that has been in the league for a while, that can show you on the field instead of in the film room.
Right.
So I would have loved for him to come back. But where he fits in Philadelphia, man, Ricardo hit the nail on the head. You get a leader, you get a downhill dude that can shoot gaps. He can set the edge. He doesn't cover well, which I don't think he will have to do in Philly. But being a leader on that defense to the Kobe Dean and those young guys, I think is a plus, and it could, help their defense out a lot.
Interesting you mentioned covering, because that's what they actually had covering issues in the middle of the defense. And if you watch the game against the Patriots this weekend,
Right.
yeah, they
True.
got good corners, but they lost a all pro safety and went to the Lions, and
Right.
I think that team's gonna try to eat them up in the middle of the field, man, in the passing game with them tight ends and slot receivers. So that's gonna be interesting to watch through the season for those guys.
Yeah, man. And you know what, man? Just to switch up the tone a bit, man. Speaking of linebackers, man, Smitty, this question came up on one of my videos, man, from Jerry Marmette, brother. If you're watching, man, appreciate the question, man. If you get a chance to watch the replay, it's here for you, brother. He says, "What's the thought on adding Van Noy to the linebacker crew?" And he's referring to Kyle Van Noy, who is currently a free agent, 32 years of age, if I'm not mistaken, man. Ultra productive linebacker. For the past 3 years, averaged, I think, like six or seven sacks
He's
per
at
year.
22 and a half sacks the last 4 years. So
Last
that's an
4
average
years?
of about
Ooh.
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah,
Yep.
5.5.
I would definitely welcome that. Yes, seeing as we need a veteran presence on this linebacker core. I know that Caden Ellis right now is the presumed veteran linebacker of this team. A guy like Troy Anderson, man, we can really move him around and use him very uniquely in certain spots, man. A true Swiss Army knife. Like I was mentioning, man, this is 4.344 speed, man, that you can't teach, but I would want that going downhill and you're just blitzing gaps and rushing on the outside. Kyle Van Noy also adds to the athletic ability on this linebacking core, because he can drop back in coverage. He's shown to do that in his New England days. He did it for the Chargers last year. He did it for Miami the previous year. So something like that, man, I would welcome that with open arms, man. So, Smitty, what do you say, man? A linebacker like Kyle Van Noy
33
would be a
years
great
old.
addition?
I'm sorry, 32 years old sounds like a lot, but I think he still got gas left in the tank. 33 and a half career sacks. That don't come by accident. He plays inside or outside. So, like you said, coverage will work in the middle of the field or, on wheel routes against tight ends and running backs. So he can cover those, and I think it would be a great fit. And like I said, from what I've seen the other day, I still think they need a veteran linebacker, and that's what I'm most supportive of. Them getting a veteran with those young guys.
Yeah, for sure. What you got, Ricardo? You good?
I think you hit it right on the nose. If you look at the defense, I still think that's probably one of the least positions where there's not a lot of depth there, and the veteran what they actually need. That's why Rashawn Evans would have been perfect bringing him back. But they need a veteran, and Van Noy, a guy that provides sacks. That's just add to our sack total. That we're trying to get this season. But I definitely think he'd be a great fit for the Atlanta Falcons. He had last year, played for the Chargers, I think, right? Played for the Chargers last year. Like you said, had over 5 sacks. I think definitely would work perfect for the Atlanta Falcons, inside and outside, and bring that pressure.
Yeah.
That we start to see in the second half for that front seven on Sunday. But
and I'm looking at his numbers from last year, salary wise, $2.25 million. They can afford that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Falcons sit just a little over 11 million in salary cap, so it is doable, folks.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah. Before we move on, I got to give a shout out to my boy DSFS. What's going on, Liam? This is Johnson from Out of Your Falcon Mind. What's up, buddy? Thank you for tuning in, man.
What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Carrie, with this one, do y'all watch AJ's mic'd up from the game? It was amazing. He seemed so happy, and the defense had great energy. I loved it. That was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable energy. He looks like he's enjoying himself, and why not in a contract year? So I hope he balls out and gets all the money that he deserves, man, because it's going to be a pretty penny to re-sign.
I think he'll be signed before the year over with.
Yeah, I hope so too.
If you listen to that mic'd up, man, they sound so confident. You know what I'm saying? They sound confident. What I got out of that. Yeah, I mean, it just I think, man, they started, like I said, that second half kind of gave me a good feeling about what they can really be. So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out Trevor Preston, man. I saw him in the chat a little earlier. So shout out to him.
What up, Travis? Yes, sir. Our boy Winston Thornton's in here too. King Richie, Corey Page. Oh man, there's so many folks in here tonight, man. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in to the 95 North Sports Machine.
Hey, and if y'all moving on,
man. Go ahead, bro.
If y'all watching this stream, man, please go to Twitter or Facebook. Share the Falcons group if y'all can. Help us get them views up, man. We want everybody to be a part of the conversation, not just y'all. So go on and share it to the Facebook or Twitter. Help us get this across all platforms. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Keeping the theme going, man. Chris Jones gets his money. Signs a 1-year, $19.5 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're not done, man. They need their best defensive player on the field. With incentives, this contract is worth north of $25 million. A feel-good story, so to say, man. Chris Jones has been a dog. We spoke highly of him on the show, Smitty, a couple weeks back. You know, he's very deserving of what he's in tune to. So I'm happy to see him get his money, and I'm sure that he will definitely make a difference now that he's going to be on the field moving forward, because
crazy part needs it, man. Crazy part about it, 15.5 sacks last year, but he was the ninth rated, among salaries at the defensive line position. So he moves a little bit further up the list, and he definitely deserves it because those 2 Super Bowl rings, that warrants for him to get paid.
Yeah, for sure. And last but not least, man, if anybody tuned into the Monday night extravaganza last night, we saw Aaron Rodgers in his 4 snaps in that inflated contract go down with a torn Achilles, out for the year, as Adam Schefter reported earlier today. A big blow to that New York Jets whole organization. They had high hopes, a pretty good roster, well-rounded roster. You talk about offense, you talk about defense. The running game with Dalvin Cook is pretty good. The wide receiving core, they got all of Aaron's boys over there, so they're doing it. They're doing their thing. But I asked this, man. There's a certain somebody that's sitting on the booth now, man. Old number 2, Matt Ryan. Should the Jets pick up the phone and see if they could seek Matt Ryan's services, man? It's a good possibility. It would be a great match. The solid offensive line, as I mentioned, is good running game, good wide receiving core. He won't have to go in there and do a lot because that defense looks like it's gonna carry the bulk of that of the season now, especially if they elect to keep Zach Wilson and don't make any trades for any veterans. So a lot of pressure is going to be on that defense. But a guy like Matt Ryan, a vested veteran, been in the league a very long time, a proven winner. Had an iffy last year with Indy, of course. Didn't go the way that he wanted, obviously. So right now he's semi-retired in the booth. But if that phone rings, I know he'll definitely entertain. So, Smitty, what do you think the possibility of Matty Ice returning to the NFL in gangrene?
I could see it from a fit standpoint, but I think they're gonna roll with Zach Wilson. Robert Saleh, I already said that Zach is our guy, so I'm gonna trust him. Now the reason why I would like it is what you said, strong offensive line, but the way Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook were running last night, Matt Ryan will hardly have no pressure on him. Like I talked about with Desmond Ridder with the play action. Matt Ryan was one of the best quarterbacks at that with his time in Atlanta. So you get those 2 running backs and a strong offensive line. I think strong receiver group as well. I would love to see it. But Marcus Spears, ESPN analyst, put out a tweet today. Said the Jets should call Atlanta about Taylor Heineke. Y'all can check
There
out
it is.
my thoughts on that. Go to my page, check out my thoughts on. I did a video on it. I would not like it, however, if they offer us second round pick, I'm all for it. And the reason why I think they would do it, I don't think they trust Zach Wilson because I don't. But yeah, Tyler Heineke to the Jets, that would be feasible as well. And he's younger than Matt Ryan, so I could see it. But you have Carson Wentz, Kellen Mond, even Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton still out there. So
Facts.
it's still quarterbacks out there, man. And but Heineke and Ryan would probably be at the top of the list.
Yeah. So they got to bring in a quarterback. So we know it's going to happen. They're going to have to go get one. And they already know they don't trust that. So let's be honest. That's why they traded for Aaron Rodgers. I know they saying all the
That's true.
the things right now. I'm saying he had a good preseason and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But I mean, they had their players last year when Kevin and Matt White shirts on. In the locker room.
Mike White.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they wanted Mike White to be their quarterback.
He would have Dolphins not
Right. I mean, so I mean, I think it's saying all the right things. I mean, let's be honest. If he would have lost last night, if Josh Allen wouldn't have gave him the game, you know what I'm saying? Josh Allen pretty much gave him that game. His first second pass, he threw an interception. So they're gonna bring in the quarterback. Matt Ryan would be perfect. Of course, he need to learn an offense. He's gonna have to learn the offense. So I suggest bringing in a veteran guy, let him sit for about 2-3 games, and then as soon as Zach Wilson mess up, because I believe he will, I just
think about it.
He gonna click for him.
Tyler Heineke is a veteran now, 30 years old.
Right. So
yeah,
Heineke would be perfect as well, but they gonna have to get a veteran. I know they mentioned Jameis Winston as well, another guy they might want to trade for. We know him as well, another guy, but he better than Zach Wilson. I agree. I can say that. So
I agree.
They're gonna bring in a quarterback. The question is, if they're gonna bring in a quarterback that could, Zach Wilson gonna be looking over his shoulder because they bring in a Taylor Heineke, they bring in a Matt Ryan. As soon as they see, the fans gonna be clamoring for, hey, bring in the other guy. So that's the question. They just gonna bring in somebody just to be a backup because they got to bring in a backup because I don't even think he was the only quarterback that was on the
quarterback on the roster. Yeah,
on the roster yesterday. So they got to bring in another quarterback. Just question, who they gonna bring in and if it's gonna be somebody that he gonna be looking over his shoulder worried about. So
that's a fact, man.
And I agree with Seba Brown, man. I wouldn't replace a 40-year-old quarterback with a 38-year-old quarterback. However, if the opportunity presents itself and they feel like they're comfortable with him being the backup, hey, Matt Ryan make that little easy money here. He making $23 million just to sit at home.
Yeah. But I mean, but honestly, Matt Ryan is not gonna put the ball in harm's way. You give him time with a great running game, man. He can pick freaking defenses apart. He's still able to do that. So he'll be a good fit if they want to go down that route.
Man, I want to finish up over here with this little bit of Falcon news that hit the circuit today. Godwin Ebubuke got released, and the Falcons signed to the active roster Joe Graziano. So Godwin Ebubuke, was that number 3 running back for us this Sunday. Really didn't do anything. He was on kickoff, punt return or kickoff return. He got released. So I don't know if that spells that the return of CP maybe, or he's nearing that. It could be active this Sunday. We don't know. But yeah, Joe Graziano comes back on the squad, signed to the 53. Definitely need that big body. As we saw in this game against Carolina, man, some more big bodies are needed in this Falcons defense. So with that, boom. Let's dissect this Packers versus Falcons preview, man. Green Bay Packers played the Chicago Bears last week, man. 38-20 was the victory for the Green Bay Packers. Offensively, they weren't inspiring. I think they ran into a good situation playing a bad Bears team at the moment. Unfortunately, Justin Fields looked confused a little bit of the time there. He didn't have mind-boggling stats for all the weapons that the Bears have added. Although, yeah, sure, it's game one. I get it. When you start criticizing certain things, folks get in their feelings like, oh my God, you can't. No, yeah, you can. So with that, he didn't look inspiring. Green Bay did a good job, shutting him down. This is by far probably the best front seven that we're going to face in a while. I mean, we know we got Detroit, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But currently speaking, man, Green Bay has they got hella good players on that linebacking core, which I think is the strength of their defense. Preston Smith, Rashawn Gray, Quay Walker, who had a pick six for a touchdown. Our very own former Falcons, Vondre Campbell. So there's some size and depth in that linebacking core, man.
They got Lucas Van Ness too.
Luca Van Ness is another guy. I think he got a sack this past week, man. So yeah, they got some dogs on that defense, and the Falcons, man. For all the great things that they did Sunday, I get it. It was game one, so there was a lot of things a lot of kinks that needed to be ironed out. I get it. So going into week two, they better be, because they better be on their A game, especially with this stout defensive front that they'll be facing. I know our offensive line, particularly the right side, suffered in this past week's matchup, man. Chris Lindstrom did some things that were uncharacteristics with the penalties and allowing so many pressures. Although, yeah, he was facing Derrick Brown, but it's not a matchup he's not used to seeing. And Caleb McGarry, kind of went back to the old Caleb McGarry that we knew. Allowing pressures and sacks and just being a turnstile at that right tackle. So he better sharpen up, man, because he's going to have a long day against Rashawn Gary, man, and Luca Van Ness. So, Gentlemen, what do you guys think is the best way to neutralize this Green Bay Packers defensive onslaught coming up to the Benz on Sunday?
Go ahead, Ricardo.
So you just mentioned all those guys that we got to face. So Quay Walker, he's in the concussion protocol, so hopefully he don't play.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a break on that. I'm just being honest with you.
No, be honest, brother. Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones pulled hammy. Hopefully he don't play. So I'm just looking at, I look at the injury report too. We get lucky on some of these guys we don't have to face this season. But looking at that front seven, and looking at how the Atlanta Falcons played in that first half, when Brian Burns almost single-handedly, wrecked the game for the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
And then Derrick Brown, Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry, man, was really uninspiring. I couldn't believe it. Like the way Chris Lindstrom played in particular, Caleb McGarry, I just started having flashbacks. All them years when Matty Ice was here. But they kind of fixed it in the second half, because if you look at the pressures and how many hits that they got on Desmond in the second half, it kind of went down. Now you can't contribute that. Arthur Smith started to call the game different.
Right.
He stopped dropping back. He just gave up on it pretty much. But we're gonna have to mix it up, man. I think we need to spread them out. I know he liked to have those condensed, lineups and have the receivers in close. But I think we need to spread them out a little bit and utilize our weapons. I mean, I keep saying this, and I know you cannot draft freaking Kyle Pitts and Drake London in the first round, the top 10, and don't utilize them. Like he's gonna start getting criticized. He already getting criticized for it, but you can't have 2 top 10 picks and you don't put them in the game plan, man. You have to try everything you got to do to get the ball to Kyle Pitts and Drake London. They have to be part of the game plan. And if he ain't going in the week thinking about that, against a defense like this, because they have advantages. Kyle Pitts gonna create that, but if you're not going to involve them in the game plan, I don't know, what he's doing with that. So, and at some point, people gonna start to call it out. I mean, we won the game. No catch from Drake London, 2 catches from Kyle Pitts, but you got to open it up, man. And he admitted he wanted to be more balanced. And I know the way our offensive line played, but they got to figure out something. We got to be able to protect Desmond Ridder. We got maybe if they move him out the pocket, more bootlegs, Get him off the spot, out of the pocket a little bit, before he can utilize the athletic ability. We didn't see none of that on Sunday. Like he just did dropbacks. I don't know if he did a play action pass. I can't even really recall.
I don't think
I think he did too.
I think on that long pass to Kyle Pitts, it was just a quick, a bluff play action.
That was more like an RPO at that point.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So,
but yeah,
so the running game looked good. So we know. I think that's going to be there. But man, you gotta keep them honest, and you can't use those guys as decoy. Like, man, come on, man. I don't know if you guys seen that play when Kyle Pitts had on Chin on the ground. He almost.
Oh my God, he shook him off his shoes, man.
Shook him off. Yeah, shook him out. And then you look in the pocket. There's Ridder already on the ground, man. So
yeah. So let me clear something up right quick because I rewatched the game. I think Arthur Smith did a great job scheming his guys open. He really did. Like you just mentioned, that Kyle Pitts, situation with Jeremy Chin. Sure, if young Desmond had more time, that could have been an easy, game-breaking type passing play there. It's just like you mentioned, it was the pass rush. It was in his face a little too quick. So there's got to be ways that Arthur Smith can get a little bit more creative, implement more of the short passing game to neutralize the pass rush. Set up the play action. The run game is our bread and butter. Continue doing that. Chicago had much success against Green Bay up the middle, and predominantly up the middle. I think to a tune of 130 something yards rushing. We got two stout backs. We all seen what Tyler Algier does. He can hurt you through the gut. He can hurt you on the outside. And Bijan has just proven already that he can just hurt you all around. So we got to keep that defense on their toes consistently. The one advantage that I like about our Falcons is the shiftiness and grittiness of our running backs versus their linebackers. Their linebackers are big and stout and heavy, and that's not a good recipe. Yeah, they're just proven run stoppers. You got to catch them and put them on the island like you guys were just mentioning. Spread them out. Make some of those guys, work outside of their comfort zones. That could be one of the best keys to really blowing this thing open, and maybe hopefully, Desmond Ridder can find more of the open targets at hand because the pass rush is so neutralized. That also will have Green Bay change up their flow game plan defensive wise, because now you got to attribute to all these weapons that we have. How do we contain a Kyle Pitts if he goes off? And if we start implementing Matt Collins and Drake London, those are other two bodies that you got to worry about. So there's advantages. It's just, can Arthur Smith, game plan that so quickly in 4 quarters to, sustain it, and B, finish the game on a high note. That's what we got to look at. So that's what I'll be more interested to see this week going up against Green Bay, because, man, we have the talent. We have the talent.
What they have to do, man, point blank, is run the football against a physical defense. You talk about Kenny Clark up front, Devontae Wyatt, like you said, with Quay Walker, Preston Smith, all those guys, man, they're run stoppers. They're going to get after the quarterback. So what do? You game plan, run more draw plays. If you can, get Kyle Pitts in the one-on-one situations. Drake London and Matt Hollins. We know about Jair Alexander, but against a physical receiver, do you really trust that?
Right. So that's what I was just about to say, because man, we been talking about how big our receivers are, and I know Alexander, he's a great corner, man. He's a great corner.
Sure is.
Physicality, to going up against Matt Hollins and Drake London, I think they can take advantage of that, man. So you got to give our guys a chance, man.
And I know that
true.
Y'all said we don't need to put the tight end, the 2-3 tight end sets in, but you got to get somebody on that right side to help McGarry with Devontae Campbell, Preston Smith, because they're going to come out to him, man, and they seen it last week. Now, if they choose to run 2-back system with a fullback in the backfield, that might help too. Because if they can, I'm telling you, if they run it up the gut, I think that opens up the pass game. I think that gives them a rhythm. Because let's be real, once Bijan Robinson or Tyler Algier get to going, it's gonna be hard to stop them.
Yeah,
so very hard. That's what I want to see. I want to see this offense in a rhythm. If
Yep.
this offense gets in a rhythm, man, it's going to be way too hard to stop this Falcons offense. There's way too many playmakers at all the important skill sets that can make a darn difference. That's what I want to see, man. And, sure, game one, we didn't get a lot. We just saw some glimpses. I get it. It's game one. I get it. We didn't play most of the starters in the preseason. But, okay, now you got a full game under your belt. You have a full week to study your inconsistencies already on offense. Okay, how do you dial a new game plan going forward? What are you scrapping? What are you going to put on the team for Sunday? Because, hey, we heard some boos at the Mercedes-Benz. I don't know if they were yelling boo or coo, but you definitely don't want the crowd against you this Sunday. We want them with you, which I may add, the Benz was jumping in Recondo. I know you were there, so you saw that atmosphere, man. It was wonderful to see. I hope the same turnout for this Sunday, man, against Green Bay, because Green Bay is a team that travels very well, and we have to, outnumber them.
Trust me, man. Every time we play Green Bay, out of them cheeseheads, they be there. So it's going to be. We need to make sure we come, be loud like we was this Sunday.
I think William Amy makes a great point. Start off fast. You got to.
Yeah.
Against a team like Green Bay, we know they don't have Aaron Rodgers, but like I tell y'all, Matt LaFleur is still the offensive coordinator / head coach, and he can dial up some plays. He comes from Kyle Shanahan's background, so he gonna come ready to throw the football. Now, last week, Jordan Love numbers were not super impressive, but 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. The guy that worries me the most on that offense is Aaron Jones, the running back. He had, I think, 125 total yards and 2 total touchdowns. You talk about a guy that could break it at any point. But I think he's dealing with an injury this week. So my key to that, on the defensive side, is Troy Anderson has to follow him wherever he goes. If he gets the football, carrying the football, you got to stick him. If he goes out, splits out wide, you got to check him because Aaron Jones can change the momentum of any game. You talk about an Aaron Kamara type talent with Aaron Jones. So Troy Anderson is definitely going to be my X factor for the Falcons on defense.
So let me just also just go back to the Carolina game. I mean, let's give Carolina some props. That's a good defense. That's a good. So it's not like they were playing some scrub. Carolina I think they had like a top 10 defense last year. So that's a good defense that we went up against. So we're not taking anything away, because we knew they was going to become ready to play. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, man, they good on every level. Defensive line, linebacker, they got good defensive back. So that's a good defense we went up against. And like I said, man, at the end of the day, Archie Smith figured out a way to get the win. He utilized, went to the running game. That was working. He figured a way to get it out. But moving forward, we got to, grow, and that's what we want to see each week. They should grow, start to get all these guys involved. We talked about so many weapons, but we just got to make sure that we understand we played a good defense last week. We really did. So.
Yeah, I just think Ivaro Jaro just dialed up a great game plan. I mean, Ivaro Jaro's a bright young defensive coordinator mind. Should be a candidate for a head coaching job very, very soon, man. He has that type of ability to dial up a great defense. He inherited a pretty good defense as it was with Carolina. They just added some pieces, Justin Houston, a couple other pieces that they added the line. So, he worked the way he had and he made the most of it. So, yeah, like you mentioned, you can't take anything away from what Carolina did, man. We just, at the end, we just drew up more plays than what they did, and eventually we ended up with the dub. But moving on to the offensive side, go ahead.
One thing about it, I think what happened is on defense, we got out the field on third down. They were only 4 for 12 on third down, so that was key because I was worried about that. So, third down is key, and it's definitely going to be key against Green Bay.
And Carolina, pay that man. Pay that man. Man. He earned his, pay that man. I mean, please, because I don't want him to be that mad when he plays us again. He tried to prove a point, man. Pay that man. So,
absolutely, man. So, shifting now to the offense, Jordan Love, 15 for 27 for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns, sacked only once. Their offensive line, they're no slouches over there. They hosts two of the better offensive tackle, offensive guard duos, and Eggleton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari. So Falcons have to get super creative when they go to blitz Green Bay, especially from the left side, because that's the strength of their offense right there, is the left side. We saw Atlanta's pass rush not really come to life until some changes were made after the half, and that was more specifically when Taquan Graham was on the field paired with Calais Campbell in the middle. It really opened up. It really opened up some pass rush situations. Now, the Bears don't host the same pass rushes that we do. I think we outweigh them in that category. The Falcons definitely can get Ryan Nielsen, I should say, can dial up some pretty funky looking looks. I mean, as it is, Jordan Love is still a rookie by set. Yes, he's been in the league for 3 or 4 years. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers, with no game exposure. So what is he really used to seeing on field? The game speed to him is pretty much new as it stands. So Atlanta's got to look at that. We made Bryce Young look like a darn rookie, finally, thank God, because we normally have – that's usually our kryptonite, having these rookie quarterbacks come into the bench on the dome and light us up. We can't have that with Jordan Love, man. We definitely got to switch things up and throw things at him that he hasn't seen before. The Bears weren't really that exotic with anything that they did. So this is a good way for the Falcons to capitalize and really mix up their bag of pass rushers. I know you mentioned Timothy Horner hopefully being evaluated and brought up to the elevated to the
53-man roster.
Yeah, to the 53-man roster, because I think he can make a darn difference, man. And like you mentioned Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is nursing a hamstring injury, so his status is up in the air. One guy that may be a go is their burner, their speedster, Christian Watson, who came on strong late last year. So, having him, whichever side they decide to showcase him on, whether that be with AJ Terrell,
I think AJ gonna cover him the whole game no matter what, because
I really hope so.
He'll burn Trey Flowers easily. That dude runs a 4.3. He fast. 6'4" with speed is dangerous. But one thing that helps AJ or Trey Flowers, you got your boy Jesse Bates back there. Yeah. So you got somebody to help you over the top at all times on both sides of the field. So I think to keep it honest, I think Jordan Love gonna be passing a lot in the middle of the field and stay away from those guys. So you'll see a lot of passes like slants, curl routes and things like that over the middle from Green Bay.
We ain't here yet, Trimmer, but I love the vibe. I love the energy, man. I love it. I love the confidence, man. Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. And here's another great little point right here from William. Trey Flowers can't carry. I'm sorry, man. I mean, he's, he looked good in certain assignments last week. Damn it, Mingo almost got him for a 93-yard touchdown. If he didn't overthrow it.
Bryce had time, but
he had some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like that, because like you were saying about AJ, and I hope Okuda go too, because they ain't said nothing about him. But I hope Okuda ready, because that'll be awesome. But those cornerbacks don't have to cover like they used to have to cover. We get that pressure, because that's what we rushed Bryce Young. Bryce Young is accurate. He's an accurate quarterback, but his time was off, man, because he saw that pressure coming in his face. And he had a lot of overthrows, and he was really inaccurate Sunday, which was really a shock, because he's an accurate quarterback, but because of that pressure, those guys, man, they have to. Trey Flowers got burnt twice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, he got burnt twice, and he got overthrown. But I hope Okuda is back though.
And I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. I think Flowers, he's better as a safety, man. He can play safety as well, so I think he plays safety a lot better, especially with his size and helping in the box. But man coverage is not his thing. He's a zone coverage corner.
So they had him. I think they utilized him at playing on tight ends, on his other stops. So
he played in the slot and outside.
Right. So I agree. That's why I hope, like I said, I don't know the status of Okuda. He didn't mention it. He mentioned the other guys. He mentioned Hughes and Cardell Patterson today at the press conference. So he's saying those guys should be back. But he didn't mention Okuda though. So hopefully.
Well, I said week 3 from the jump. So it don't surprise me.
Yeah,
But
and that'd be perfect for him. Revenge game going to play against the Lions. So
yeah,
I would like to see them mix up coverages, man. I think Trey Flowers, the best way we could use him is to shut down the opposing's best tight end.
Yep.
And this game will prove to feature Green Bay's tight end Luke Musgrave. I think he came out of my God, what college did he
Oregon.
come out of? Oregon. Yes,
Oregon State.
Yep.
Oregon State.
So he was second on the team with receiving last week. Number one was Aaron Jones, like I just mentioned. Aaron Jones's status is still up in the air. After that, really Romeo Doubs, whoever Jay Reed is, really uninspiring wide receivers, man. That's where you can really get, really creative, do a little bit more man coverage or press man, and really dial up the blitz. Like, again, got to stress the fact, man, Jordan Love is basically a freaking rookie, man. Hasn't really seen a lot. So we got to make him uncomfortable 100%, man. 100%. So why not take the weapons that are most viable? Go ahead.
Which is why I think they'll lean more on the running game. AJ Dillon, he's still a heavy load to bring down, even if Aaron Jones don't play. So they still have more running backs beside him. But like I said, man, with the system that LaFleur runs, any kind of running back can gash us. I mean, that's just how Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur work. The offense that they teach, they can plug and play anybody in that offense, and they will produce. It's just the way it is. You see them do it in Atlanta. So
that's right, Trimmer. We have tape on Jordan Love now, so we can pick up on some of his tendencies. I know in that Bears game he was staring down a couple of his receivers, and that goes to just not getting enough starts and not being disciplined enough to stay your receiver down. We just talked about a lot of things, folks, but we're gonna give you some X factors. And Wakanda, you had started, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Before I go on,
yeah,
I could see D. Alford or Clark Phillips playing outside since they have those young receivers. Since they're not veterans, you could see D. Alford and Clark Phillips get more work on the outside instead of the slot. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses it because, like I said, Trey Flowers could move into the slot or he could move into a dime safety position in certain packages. So, man, we'll see how it turns out. But I just think our young cornerbacks will get more work this game.
I hope so, man. And we'll stand the test and we'll be ready, man. Because I know my X factor for this game has these boys ready. And it's familiar ties there, man. Jerry Gray, I believe that's going to be the X factor for our Atlanta Falcons. Jerry Gray, as we all know, was the defensive back coach for Green Bay last year. So he knows quirks and tendencies of this defense like you wouldn't believe, having coached them and seen them in practice all the time, for the duration that he was there. One guy in particular, man, he knows Jair Alexander, coached them up very, very well. So look for these wide receivers definitely to try and, get the upper hand on Jair. Like I mentioned, Jerry Gray would be my X factor. I think Jerry Gray knows a little too much about this defense in this secondary, and he's going to definitely pinpoint weaknesses on these guys. That's going to give the Falcons an upper hand in exploiting mismatches and just how to attack. One thing that I think the Falcons can do is attack the edges. As we mentioned in the beginning, how heavy those guys are, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary. But when you get into that secondary or the second part of their defense, they're pretty light. Jair Alexander, Jair Alexander is he's not that big in stature. He's not afraid of contact.
He's about 195, 200.
I think that's what it comes. It's going to boil down to what Jerry Gray can instill in our players now for this defense to definitely take advantage of the wide receivers and everything else, and also play a hand on the offensive side, giving them pointers and tips on how to attack these guys going forward. So my X factor, as mentioned, would be Jerry Gray.
So you mentioned Jerry Gray. You also got to remember that he went up against that offense every day.
Yeah, very well.
In practice,
absolutely.
Training camp. So he know that offense. Trust me. I mean, they can only change it up so much. So he knows Green Bay offense as well. So you're right. He could play a big role this week in preparing for Green Bay. Big role. But my X factor, man, because you mentioned Jordan Love is so he's still, man. Desmond Ridder got more starts than Jordan Love. Just put that out there. Yes. Jordan Love been in the league long time, but Desmond Ridder has more starts than Jordan Love does. So my X factor is stop the run Stop the run game. If we stop the run game, we want to make Jordan Love beat us. And
One-dimensional.
If I think we can, force third and longs and get into obvious pass situations, I think it's going to make him think a lot. Like you said, and I'm really believing that Jesse Bates like playing these young quarterbacks, man, because he be setting them up. He's setting them up.
Yeah.
And one thing, just a nugget on Jesse Bates, which I found out was interesting. They have Tuesdays off, but he get the guys together on Tuesday to watch film.
Yeah.
So I like that, man. He taking that leadership role and getting those guys in secondary ready, man. When we get those guys in obvious pass situations, I think we can take advantage of Jordan Love inexperience. So that's my X factor for this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go similar to what you said. Like I said earlier, I think the linebackers are gonna be key. Like you said, stop the run. If you stop the run and make them one-dimensional, the Falcons will have, to me, an easy road to victory, because we all know that I don't think Jordan Love can beat them unless they're blown coverages or unless they run the wrong packages. But I think the middle linebacker, Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson, they have to key in on the running backs. Also have to cover the tight ends when they need to, and keep everything in front of them. Don't let nothing get behind you. If you keep everything in front of you, I think they'll be fine. So the linebackers are my X factor.
Yeah, I gotta say this real quick. Millie Mills definitely, man. Did not forget Kingsley Egabara.
No.
I think he almost got a sack last week too. He was a pass rusher out of South Carolina, man. One of my favorites coming out. I think either last year or the year before.
South Carolina,
yeah. Long armed individual, man. Definitely good against the run. Sets the edge very well. Not sleeping on him. I'm sure that they're going to find ways to get him involved in this game plan against the Falcons this week. So yeah, definitely Millie Mills. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah. Oh man, we got some. Let me see. Here's one right here.
Snip some of these questions out of here. Ooh, that's
they
a good
better
one.
use the Angelo Malone. Hello, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And if I may, I spoke on Atlanta Bird Gang the other day, Smitty, a program that you was on also. I left a little bit earlier, but I spoke about Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree was brought in here as that vet. I think that he's taken valuable snaps away from Arnold Ebiketie. I think those should be for him. I don't think that Ebiketie should be the situational pass rusher as he was played out to be this past Sunday. I think he needs to be the starter because I think he can affect the downs that great on early downs and have a mixture of D'Angelo Malone and Bud Dupree in that situational role. More so for Bud Dupree because he is the veteran. He understands some gap integrity more so than D'Angelo Malone. But let's give him some snaps too because he was taken in the 5th round and spoken highly of, but seldom used. So. Yeah. I would like to see that going forward. So Atlanta supporter, thank you for this, man. I appreciate that. Definitely, man.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think with Jordan Love, man, like I said, you shut down and make them one-dimensional, and you force him to beat you with young wide receivers. That's gonna be tough to do. But I don't think it's impossible because, like I said, you have an offensive mind that can dial up plays like Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan. Don't put nothing past them. But Bud Dupree, we did talk about that, and I just didn't see nothing from Bud Dupree last Sunday. I said what Arnold Ebiketie was, what D'Angelo Malone, put him in the game, man. I agree with that because if you take snaps away from them, how are they gonna? Why you are stunting their growth?
Yeah.
So so I agree with that, man. 24/7.
Ooh, you giving out game predictions already? Hey, man, hold on, let's get it. Game prediction. Smitty, what'd you say again?
Who giving out predictions?
I'm about to right now. I'm gonna give the first prediction, and I'm gonna go out and say this. Last week, I almost called the goddamn game. I said 20-10 Falcons. We ended up winning 24-10. So this week against the Green Bay Packers, give me 24-13 Falcons.
I'm in that same wheelhouse. I'm gonna take the exact score from last. I'm gonna take the exact score from last week, 24-10.
I think this offense going to come like I'm going 28. I'm gonna say 28-13.
28-13. Ooh, all right. Folks in the chat, man, drop them. We got our brother Archangel in the building. Yes, sir. 27-24. Our boy RJ ATL for life with 17-10.
17-10.
Yeah, our
scorer.
brother William Amy, 21-30. Oh, man.
31-24.
31-24.
They get 34 points. That means Desmond Ritter done figured something out.
Yeah. And shout out our brother Tony Wright. What's happening, man? We miss you in the stream, brother. Yes, man. Their defense is very stout, and we spoke candidly about them in the beginning of the show, man. Can't take nothing away from them. Those guys, they move around. Devontae Wyatt this past week he finished top 10 in the interior pass rushes. By the way, we had two of them in that top 10. I think it was David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett. Yeah. Absolutely. Kenny Clark is another dog. Devontae Wyatt is another dog, man. So, yeah, we definitely got our hands full. So guys like Matt Bergeron, who had a hell of a game against Carolina, is going to face another true test. Drew Dahlman, who had an okay game, also stands the test this week. But, confidence says that they'll clean that stuff up and definitely put out a better-looking product offensively, to navigate a win for our Falcons against the Green Bay Packers. Go ahead, brother.
So quick question. So
go ahead, brother.
Do you think Green Bay defense is better than Carolina's defense?
Yes. Player-wise, scheme-wise, yes.
I think Carolina got a better defensive front than Green Bay. I like the linebackers, like you mentioned, the linebackers, but I think Carolina defensive front with Derek Brown and Ty Shuttle, I think, and Brian Burns, I think they're better from up front. So I'm hoping that, because I really don't know what happened to Chris Lindstrom, man. Chris Lindstrom didn't have a good game, man. He looked at where he was graded. He was graded really low, which is, he graded in the 90s almost every game last year. But I just think that their front was better. It's better than Green Bay. I hope they don't prove me wrong and come out.
I'm gonna take Green Bay, and the reason why, Preston Smith. I love Brian Burns, but Preston Smith, he was more consistent last year. I like Kenny Clark. He's been one of the most consistent defensive tackles in this league for a minute. Then you look at Devontae Wyatt. He's underrated as well. Yeah, you look at those three on the defensive line. Then you have Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell behind them. I mean, I'm taking that. Then Jair Alexander at corner. You have Darnell Savage at safety. So they have athletes, man. So I mean, it's a toss-up really, because both teams have great defenses. But
what was the score last week against the Bears? How many points they let the Bears get?
38-20.
38-20.
Yeah,
and they sacked the mobile quarterback 4 times, so that says speed for that defense. So that's why that's athleticism. So that's why I say I much rather Green Bay's defense than Carolina's. I think they just have playmakers in the interior, in that second level, and in that third level. Also, they all complement each other very well. I think Green Bay's secondary is a bit undersized, with Jair Alexander not offering too much size. The boy out of Georgia, Eric Stokes, I think he's probably the tallest corner that they have, and everything else is pretty much undersized in that department.
Fastest. He runs a 4.2.
That boy, Eric Stokes, really fast.
Yeah, he's fast.
But but that's a great question, though, man.
Yeah. So
great question.
How many rush yards they give up? I didn't really watch the Chicago game.
That's all right. They gave up 133 yards, if I'm not mistaken, to Green Bay.
Okay.
Not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read off some more of these scores right quick, man, if you guys don't mind. Hold on, so we said that one. Our brother Millie Mills, 24-21, Atlanta. Woo! Atlanta supporter. I love it, man.
I love
30-7, man.
Hey, if they only give us 7 points, Chuck E. Cheese on me.
Is Chuck E. Cheese even a thing, bro?
Yeah, it's still down here somewhere.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. Cheese heads.
God damn. Mike Marion, appreciate you joining the stream tonight. 3113, he calls it Falcons or Green Bay. Antonio James, thank you for joining, man. 3110 Falcons. Playboy Darian, 2417 Falcons. Dr. Ganja, what's happening, man? He got us 28-24. I love that, man. Jermaine Winfrey, 31-20. It could happen, man.
Yeah, I don't like to be.
Oh, man.
I be too nervous in the stadium when it be that close.
Yeah,
especially when the Falcons
absolutely,
playing.
man.
Especially when the Falcons playing, but oh Lord.
Bags got us 24-17 or 31-17 Falcons either way. I love it, man. Anthony Savigny, I say 30 Falcons, Green Bay 20. William Amy, I say Green Bay 21, Falcons 28. Very respectable. Our brothers at Out of Your Falcon Mind with John and Mike, man. Absolutely, man. And got a quick little nugget to drop out there for the viewers and the folks that enjoy the content, my content, Out of Your Falcon Mind content. For the remainder of this time, for the remainder of the month, we're going to see how long it goes, but I will be doing some exclusive content with them as well. I'll be working with John and Mike at Out of Your Falcon Mind, and we come up with a little show name also, when 95 North meets 75 South. And that's gonna be the name of the show. Cool. We're gonna catch us on Mondays. We'll preview the game at hand, which will probably be the Detroit game, excuse me. And it'll be every other game for the foreseeable future. So yeah, looking forward to working with John and Mike, man. Two gentlemen that I highly respect. And yeah, man, we're just gonna keep pumping out this good old Falcons content and keep the thing rolling, man. So shout out to Out of Your Falcon Mind, man. Absolutely, man.
Got you.
Keeping it going, man. ATLGA faithful, our brother, man. 30-27. Let's see.
Y'all too close, man. Cause y'all getting 3 and 4 points.
Hey, man. It's
y'all want to nail by
time.
Y'all give some breathing room. Give some breathing room. At least
right here, Mafi, 34-13. They not our division rivals, which is a great point. As we all know, division games are always played close to the chest, man.
Yeah,
this being a non-divisional game, floodgates could open in a good way for the Falcons.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, the Falcons got to hit them in the mouth, man, and push them off the line of scrimmage. If they can do that and open up their run game, it's gonna be it's gonna be open season on everybody.
We all know.
We all know. Like I tell y'all, those big receiving Kyle Pitts, they can't stop them deep. And then you have a guy like Scotty Miller who can outrun everybody. So
yeah, we owe them, man. The last time they played us, I don't know if you guys remember, it was
Green Bay. It was ugly.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off of Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, man. It was
I can tell you when it was. It was 2020 because Todd Gurley didn't do nothing that game.
Yeah. It was during the COVID season. Nobody was in the stands, but it was a beat down though.
All right, now supporters said we can hit him with a chair.
Oh man. Oh, yep. Trimble says 10-30 Falcons and a rocking Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Hell yeah. Our brother Wallace Smith going with 31-14. Oh man, I love it, man.
That what I'm talking about.
Big Boy Brewski. Got a chance to meet Big Boy Brewski, man, at the Greeting Me. With the content creators. That was awesome, man. He says 28-14 Falcons. Don Dollar, 24-17.
That's too close.
Hey.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Brewski,
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Brewski know how to say my intro better than I do.
Oh, you love that, right, man? That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's see. Drew down 13, 28-21. So floor's yours, brother.
Give a shout out to Birdcage LLC, man. Falcons content, up and coming content creator. Y'all please go check him out on YouTube at the Birdcage LLC.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Support these great minds that are coming up, man. Always spilling great wisdom into this great Falcons content community, man. For sure, for sure. And I must apologize. I did miss a super chat by our boy, Big Boy Brewski.
Hey, man, you can't be missing the cheeseburgers now. Come on.
He says, good evening, boys. Was it more Packers than good or Bears that bad? That's a good question. I'm going to go on the later part of this. I think the Bears are just that bad. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, the young team. Yeah,
Yeah.
Too young of a team. They invested a lot of resources in certain positions. I think, we could go back to the Chase Pool disaster, man. They gave up a second-round pick, to the Steelers to acquire his services. He was targeted only once or twice this past game. DJ Moore was kind of non-existent.
right.
You let David Montgomery go. He's with the rival Detroit Lions now.
Yeah.
Yep, Detroit Lions now. So you kind of really didn't do Justin Fields that much favors. Should have really shored up that offensive line a little bit more. But who am I to say, man? They're the organization. They run that ship the way they want to. So that's on them, man, for sure.
Before we go to that next super chat by Uncle Steve,
Yes.
the Birdcage LLC's link is in the chat. So y'all can go in the chat, go down to the bottom, and y'all see on the blinking stitch, she put the link down there. And shout out to Joy for always supporting. Y'all go check her out, man. She do a thing with the eyelashes and the t-shirts. So y'all go check her out on TikTok.
Yep, awesome.
Absolutely. And speaking of Uncle Steve with the $4.99 bid, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. We definitely and always appreciate that. Packers came back down to earth. Falcons 30, Packers 24. Drake reminds folks that he is the man with 100 yards and a TD. Hell yeah. I love that prediction.
I'm going to reverse that a little bit.
I love it, man.
I'm going to say Kyle Pitts get them 100 yards because if they target him more last week, he breaks out easily. And that's why I said he has to be the X factor this entire season. Because if he can control the middle of the field, that opens up the run game. And it made Drake London and Matt Hollins even more dangerous.
I'm just gonna go back. I mean, if you remember when Kyle Shanahan was here, right?
Oh yeah.
And every play, passing play, who was the number one target? Julio.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts should be number one. I'm telling you, man, like he's a mismatch. So like, you know what I'm saying? Arthur Smith, stop being so stubborn. I get it. We try to. You don't want to get, so, telltale what you're going to do. But, man, you got the weapon. Utilize him. You got to get him. He got to get targets, man.
Right.
I mean, it's starting to become a joke, Last year, we know what happened. But, go back and look what he did his rookie year. He's capable. So, you got to utilize Kyle Pitts. I just don't understand if he don't get 8 or 9 to 10 targets a game, it's a disservice to picking a guy number 4 overall.
Agreed.
Yeah, man, it just don't make sense. So
I agree with that. Birdcage, you got to control the clock, man. You got to
clock management, and they brought that up. What's one nugget that I saw that I didn't like from the Falcons this past week?
Yeah, we lost the time possession.
We lost the time of possession, and we only had 48 total plays.
Yep.
And Carolina had 72 total plays. So
creativity
has to be on 100. Yep.
We went 2 for 10 on third down. Actually, man, if you look at the stats in its entirety, you be like, how the hell the Falcons win? We won because we went 3 for 3 in the red zone. But
we won because timely and costly turnovers.
Right. Those turnovers, and we went 3 for 3 in the red zone. I mean, if you put it in perspective, if we kick field goals in the red zone, the score would have been 12-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been 12-10 instead of
19-10 somewhere in there.
Yeah, right. So capitalize on and punch it in for touchdown.
And that is a positive that we scored in the red zone. That's a definite positive.
That was red zone. 3 for 3.
Oh man. So man, gentlemen, if you guys have anything more to add, please do. I'm gonna say this last little bit before we move up out of here. Anybody and everybody that's going to the game or went to the game last week, please go back and do that same energy one more time. The Benz was rocking. I, as a fan watching on NFL Sunday Ticket, was head over heels watching the Benz as alive as it was, man. So go out and support the team, the city, the fans, everybody, man. Would just have a great time, man. Just be safe and get home safe, man, for sure.
I had a blast here.
You got another super chat too.
Got it right here, brother. For my brother Kinfolk Reese. What's going on? Oh, wait, he went back to Kinfolk Reese, man. What happened with the Kinfolk Okuda? Okuda's biggest supporter right here, man. With the $5 bit, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. We definitely and truly appreciate that 100%, man. So we can't keep hearing the same ish. Is Arthur Smith a real genius play caller or a genius at the run game? So I think the run game, Dave Ragone is the one that dials up those plays. I believe it's him. If I'm not
sure
he's
dialing up plays and not Domino's Pizza?
No, but I think he's the architect behind the run game and how the concept is drawn out with Arthur Smith's input. Arthur Smith is probably the one that dials the X's and O's and schemes these guys to be open. But I believe it's similar to what the Bears ran a couple years ago when they had Cordero. It's the same thing. Yeah. But to this man, he looked like a genius back in Tennessee, man. That got him the job in Atlanta. I just hope he can go back to his old ways and just start dialing stuff up. Yeah, sure. We don't have a Derrick Henry, but shit, we got two of them that make up for it, and two dangerous ones at that. So really, there's no reason why he can't dial up something similar to what his success was in Tennessee. So hopefully this week we'll definitely right that ship and get that thing crunk and lit and just, run all over these cheeseheads too, man.
Don't forget, Arthur Smith was the tight end coach when Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator in Tennessee too. So
absolutely. Agreed. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Miss B, shout out to Miss Lisa Shepard, shout out to Jordan and all the Falcons ladies out there, man. They support us heavily, and thank y'all.
Yes, man, absolutely.
I love it, man. It's a lot of knowledgeable Falcon fans that know the game of football. So I love it.
Beautiful.
Come in, people know what they're talking about.
Shout out to Miss Pam as well. Shout out to Miss Pam. She was in here earlier. Shout out to Miss Pam.
So, Ricardo, man, it's been a blast. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor, like always, man. Thank you for taking your time and rocking with us on this Tuesday evening, man. Please let the folks know where they can find you, where they can subscribe to your channel. Give them the details, brother. The floor is yours.
So, first of all, thank you guys for letting me come on once again, kicking with you guys. I love doing this. Shout out to all the other content creators out there. Keep doing what you're doing. I love listening to you guys as well. But I'll be on again tomorrow, breaking down this game in more detail, giving my keys. So you definitely can catch me on that on Ricondo, Real Falcon Fan. You can also catch me at Ricondo K on X. So
I call it Twix.
Yep.
My ass always thinking about food. Damn.
So once again, I like you said, I'll be at the game again this Sunday. So make sure you come, be loud. Let's turn it out again. Our Falcons, man, we actually caused a false start, man. I ain't really seen that in a long time at the stadium. So that was awesome. So and that's when Troy Brown was able to get that sack. So that's what we need. Be loud, because we don't need more of their fans there than our fans. Show up, support the team. Hey, they trying to make it happen for us.
Hey,
boy, brother, they know you, man.
Hey, food crossing my mind every 2 seconds.
Oh,
I'm finna take my behind downstairs right now.
Go ahead,
but yeah, man, y'all know how we coming, man. Like I said, great content, and make sure y'all catch up Berto out of your Falcon mind with their new venture. My boy Alberto, my boy Ricondo.
Real Falcon.
Hey, a real Falcon fan. And trust me, man, we pumping our content daily. But y'all know where to find me, man. FatBoySlim_21 on Twitter. You can find me on Spotify. Those shows are kind of old. I haven't uploaded anything in a while. But yeah, just catch me on social media, Facebook, Antoine Smitty Smith. And thank y'all for the one that shared the video. I saw those, so thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Man, shout out to everybody that viewed. We got this thing up to almost 118 views, man. That's amazing. That's awesome. That's honorable. That's awesome. I love it, man. Thank you so much for the support. To everybody in the chat, man. New ones, consistent ones, new ones in the future, man. Thank you all for making this show the success that it was, man. This is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube. If you haven't been there, please, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share button, get my videos out into the YouTube universe, as my boy Smooth Smitty would say. But on that note, man, we'll catch y'all on the post game immediately after the Green Bay Packers game this Sunday. So myself and Smitty, we rocking and staying out, man. So until then, man,
And
y'all
hey,
be safe,
feel
man.
free.
Go ahead, brother.
If y'all a Falcon content creator, feel free to come in and chat and join us, man. If you're a Falcon content creator,
Gotcha.
feel free to come in and join us. We want y'all opinions too, because we want a big happy family. But as my boy Berto said, go and take us out of here.
Man, we are out of here. Peace.